Welcome back. This week, Scott Atlas left his position as White House coronavirus advisor. For years, Dr. Atlas was a senior member of Stanford University's Department of Medicine. I know Stanford well. I taught there when I first moved to America in 2012, and I've always been grateful for the opportunities it gave me. But on November the 20th, the university's faculty senate condemned Dr. Atlas. They said his actions, quote, contradict medical science. They claim he misrepresented knowledge and opinion regarding the management of pandemics, showing disdain for established medical knowledge. And they alleged that he violated Stanford's core values and high ethical standards. High ethical standards. Interesting. Earlier in the year, 3 current members of Stanford's medical faculty, epidemiologists John Ioannidis, Jay Bhattacharya and Aaron Ben-David, published a study that completely upended what we thought we knew about the virus. By testing antibodies in Santa Clara County, where Stanford is based, the doctors established that coronavirus was much more infectious but much less deadly than we'd been told. This finding called into question the entire strategy of our leaders, locking everyone down to try and stop anyone being infected. If the virus was as infectious as the Stanford doctors showed, there's no point shutting down the economy because that won't actually stop the virus. And if it's much less deadly, then for most people it doesn't matter because they'll have 0 or mild symptoms if they get infected. The right policy would be to protect the vulnerable while letting everyone else get on with their lives. This was hugely significant. On this show, we were the first to criticize the lockdowns, to say the cure is worse than the disease. And we brought you the Stanford doctors' findings as soon as they're available. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya joined us on April the 12th. What was the reaction from Stanford? This man, Lloyd Minor, is head of Stanford Medicine. Instead of supporting his colleagues' groundbreaking work, he tried to silence them. Using the pretext of a manufactured whistleblower complaint, he ordered an investigation. For 6 months, the doctors were threatened with retribution, hounded by Stanford lawyers, prevented from speaking out, even subjected to smear campaigns in the press. Yet their pioneering findings have since been confirmed by multiple other studies, this one conducted in July and published in September, another more recently from the CDC itself. After 6 months, the doctors were completely exonerated and able to speak freely again. Dr. Bhattacharya became a founder of the Great Barrington Declaration, which argues against lockdowns and in favor of what they call focused protection for the vulnerable. It's been signed by over 12,000 medical and public health scientists around the world. Everything the Stanford doctors said in April was true. Dr. Scott Atlas shared their analysis and was a vocal advocate of the focused protection approach. That's why the president hired him. So, why did Stanford try to silence its own doctors? Why did it smear Dr. Atlas? Because of this person, Dr. Sarah Cody, Santa Clara County health officer. She ordered the nation's first lockdown. Lockdown fanatics see her as a hero. Here's the queen of corona misinformation, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow.
Dr. Cody and the other health officers in the San Francisco Bay Area acted faster and more decisively than anyone else in the country. I didn't know that stay-at-home orders were within the public health toolkit. How prepared were you? How did you all know to think about these things as options?
Good question. And here's the answer. The lockdown plan Sarah Cody ordered, which then infected, so to speak, the whole country, wasn't formulated in response to the coronavirus. It was an off-the-shelf plan that she and some former colleagues had prepared after 9/11 as a response to a potential bioterrorism attack or a theoretical pandemic, not on the data or the science of this pandemic. Still, Sarah Cody shut down Santa Clara County. Then the Bay Area followed, then the whole of California, and then across the country. We're constantly told we have the best public health system in the world. This week, data was published showing that the virus was circulating in mid-December 2019. In late January this year, Fauci was still telling us it was nothing to worry about. The virus was here 3 months before Sarah Cody's lockdown. It was never going to contain it. Even at the time, the Stanford antibody study literally conducted in Sarah Cody's county proved that lockdowns were never going to contain it. Yet preposterously, given the data, Sarah Cody was still talking in June this year about, quote, full containment. What's all this got to do with Stanford and Dr. Atlas? Guess who Sarah Cody's husband is? A professor of medicine at Stanford. And so they closed ranks to protect their own. Led by Stanford Medicine's boss, Lloyd Minor. How dare anyone question the lockdown? It was ordered by the wife of our colleague. This is how the groupthink started. The Stanford study was the first scientific challenge to the lockdown policy. So naturally, it had to be destroyed. The dissenting doctors had to be attacked, smeared and silenced. Universities, science, the whole point is to be open, to gather evidence, to debate. Stanford did the exact opposite. They attempted a cover-up. It is grotesque and a total disgrace. Meanwhile, the rest of us had to live with the consequences. The lockdown groupthink spread from Stanford to the medical establishment to the media to the bureaucrats and the Democrats. With utterly cynical bad faith and realizing the weakness of their own position, they accused anyone against lockdown of wanting people to die. But of course, people died despite the lockdown, and thousands more died because of the lockdown. We brought you the toll week after week. The establishment's cruel, destructive lockdowns failed. Yet here we are again, about to repeat them. None of it's based on science or data. Big business open, but small business closed, 25% this, 50% that. It is all capricious, pseudo-scientific nonsense. Look at Biden with his pathetic statement about masking in his first 100 days. It is pure BS, plucked out of thin air by some PR idiot. Everything Biden says about the virus is for politics, not public health. He has zero credibility. Lockdown leaders know their rules make no sense, or they wouldn't break them all the time. Every day, there's a new Democrat lockdown hypocrite. What moral authority do they have to impose lockdowns on anyone, anywhere? They're exploiting this virus to micromanage our lives, and we've had enough of it. This lockdown groupthink is as wrong as the establishment groupthink that gave us endless war in the Middle East, the 50-year suck-up to China. But this is worse than both because the costs are higher. Lockdowns are the biggest public policy mistake in history, and we have to fight them. Be responsible. Protect the vulnerable. Live your life. Help us fight back by following us at Steve Hilton X and at NextRevFNC, and share this when we post it.